What happens when we get stressed? We shut down. We can't think straight. We have to remove ourselves from the situation in order to get our head clear. That's where that whole saying goes, I need to walk out and clear my head. Well, our kids are no different. Once they hit that stress point, they're just shutting down. And so doing more and more and more of the same is not helping. And what we want to do is we want to introduce kids to the new material without bringing them to that point of stress. And so the shorter lessons help us to achieve that goal, and it's more pleasant for us and the student. A lot of the approaches that our authors use, it really is based in research. And the more research that's coming out, the more the research is saying, yes, the shorter lessons, particularly in these younger grades, it works. And it's not only works, it's crucial. And I'm going to go back to that fire hydrant analogy again, because the student will just shut down and then they're just not going to absorb everything that they need to absorb. And so rather than overwhelming them, we're actually opening up the pathways to receive it. But there's a little bit of a side effect that's really maybe almost unintended, but I also think it plays into why it works. So with the shorter lessons, we are less focused on getting all these workbook pages filled out and all of that. And so we only have so much time in a day. I remember some years that I served as a chapter leader in our local homeschool group. And I remember families just coming to the end, and some of them put their kids back in school because they were doing some of these more traditional programs, and they're still doing schoolwork at 6, 8 o'clock at night, and they're absolutely exhausted. The kids are in tears. Well, with these shorter lessons, what we're doing is we are opening up a whole world of education that actually connects with the child, that they're excited about. So there's this margin. We talk about leaving margin in our lives in today's really busy, chaotic world that we live in. And it can be hard to leave enough margin in our lives for rest and for recreation and just enjoyment. Well, it's the same for our students when it comes to schoolwork. And the shorter lessons leave that margin so that we can take bunny trails. We can do the things that are fun and interesting. We can stop. I'm hatching eggs right now. And so we can take a moment and just go watch a chick hatch, where if we're so busy with the bookwork, we're feeling like we have to get it all done. We're doing 6 to 8 o'clock at night and we just don't get a break. We're all in tears. We don't get to enjoy those moments. Or what about the student that just is fascinated by something that they learned in their schoolwork? Well, can we pause and even do something as simple as look up some videos, just diving a little bit deeper, pulling some books off the shelves that never would have gotten pulled off the shelves if we were so overwhelmed with a traditional school curriculum. And so I love that about Masterbooks. I love that we keep our lessons shorter because it does allow us as a family. I remember one time when my kids were young, we looked at a wasp under a microscope. It was dead, but it was fascinating to look at the stinger and everything else underneath of a microscope. So taking those things and just really having fun with whatever presents itself. You can't do that when you're overwhelmed with too much work, especially in those younger grades. Years ago, we didn't push kids that hard. And again, the research is telling us that slower is better. They gain confidence. It gives time for maturity. And sometimes a kid is academically ready for something that they're not physically ready for. And that's where I love the materials that Carrie Bailey has produced in the younger years that focuses more on doing and developing instead of always pushing the academic side. And there are some academics in there. I don't want to say that her curriculum doesn't have academics, because it does, but it does it at a more reasonable approach that is based on the whole child, not just academics. And, it just goes together so well. Those two things support each other.